Darkcast Network. Come to the dark side of podcasts. We have cookies.
Cookies? Me love cookies.
Ever wondered, how in the hell did I get here? You are not alone. My podcast is called True Crime Connections. It's an advocacy podcast where I talk with survivors of toxic relationships, abusive marriages. We all have one thing in common. How in the hell did we get here? And how do we get out? How do we find our self-worth again? Well, if you feel that way, come check out my podcast, because not only do you get actionable steps to take to help you take your life back, but you can listen to how others have dealt with their own situations, including addiction, suicidal ideation, and low self-worth and respect. We can get you on the right track. Make sure to check out True Crime Connections. See you there.
On his way, devil is on his way, devil is on his way, motherfucker, the devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees, devil is on his way, fall to your knees, devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees, devil is on his way, motherfucker, he's on his
Okay.
I'm recording.
You are recording?
Yeah.
That's the open?
Your strange little noises have been captured.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, you guys don't know this, but he was making like a threatening gesture.
Yeah.
While he was
Oh my gosh. Welcome to Mountain Murders.
making strange little noises with his stupid mouth.
Welcome to Mountain Murders. She's Heather and I'm Dylan.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's
hey y'all.
up?
Welcome back.
Wow. So that was just
Did a spell?
You got taste of this was the raw, real Mountain Murders there, okay? the pre-show antics have been captured.
The taste, Dylan. They don't like it. It's sour.
That's right, lick it.
It's a sour, bitter taste.
All right, so here we are, wrapping up our, what would you say, our college?
It's like we covered back to school, like that was kind of what we called our theme for the month of September, covering cases that are related to students, whether that's a high school student, a college student.
Yeah.
So student crimes.
Student crimes. And they've been some pretty sad cases. And so here we are with our final one before we get into the spooky month.
Yeah, heading into our spooky month of October, Dylan, we have decided our midweek episodes will be dedicated to horror movies that are based on true stories. Now, when it comes to film, a lot of times directors, writers will take inspiration from a real life story, turn it into a film, a horror film. But I always find it interesting when you learn that a specific movie was like based on something real. Like maybe you didn't know that.
Right.
Right? So we're going to do based on true story horror movies for the whole month of October. So I'm looking forward to that, Dylan. I've already gotten started and I've created a watch list for our listeners if they want to watch these movies like ahead of time so we don't, because obviously there'll be spoilers in some of the episodes. But if you want to prepare ahead of time, I've actually made our watch list.
Oh, that's so cool. I need to, I've seen all the movies you've laid out there for me, but I need to rewatch them as well. I think it's a really good way to make a good solid comparison between the true story and the movie.
Right. So first up, we've got Jennifer's Body. That will be our first movie the first week of October. So just in a few days, we'll be covering Jennifer's Body. We'll be watching Changeling, the Angelina Jolie film, Wolf Creek, the Australian horror film. Actually, one of my favorite.
That movie's scary.
It's one of my favorite horror films.
That guy's scary in that movie.
Right. A Haunting in Connecticut. And also Monster. What a Physical Transformation. Charlene. What's her name? Charlize. I called her Charlene. Charlize Theron made.
Yeah.
for that film.
No, I thought she did a great job in that film.
Oh, man, that movie's great. So, of course, we'll be discussing the Eileen Wuornos case and obviously aspects of that film. So I'm looking forward to October. I think it's going to be a fun conversation. And, of course, we always like to hear your feedback. So feel free to hit us up at mountainmurderspodcast@gmail.com. We've already had some folks send in listener stories. We are collecting those. We're going to have a big kind of blowout Halloween episode this month.
Oh, gosh.
It'll be really exciting. So we want to hear from you. And Dylan, before we get into today's case, I want to give a big shout out to our newest patrons.
I can't wait.
We have Adele. Thank you, Adele.
Thank you, Adele.
And we also have Santa.
Thank you, Santa.
Yeah. So thanks so much. We hope that you enjoy the extra content, the ad-free episodes over at patreon.com/Mountain Murders Podcast. Dylan, before we get started with this case, I got to be really upfront and honest with you and our listeners.
Oh.
This case pisses me off.
Really?
Well, I think this case highlights the flaws in our justice system and how maybe our lawmakers need to revisit some sentencing guidelines.
Well, see,
I feel like we've really gotten soft on crime, and I don't know when that happened or why. I'm sure smarter people out there are studying it, but I feel like we've really gotten soft on crime.
well, see, it's tricky because we've done, more than one story on mountain murders where maybe someone's been accused of something and pursued by authorities or prosecutors to the point where it ruins their lives, and sometimes they're even incarcerated, innocent people. And I think that's the tricky thing, is to protect against that, but also the people that deserve to be locked away from society, to make sure that that gets done in an effective manner. It's a really kind of a tricky balance.
Well, we are not fans of sexual predators here at all. As you know, they're on our shit list.
Yeah.
They're on our shit bird list.
They're on our kill list.
Yeah, like shoot your local pedophile. I have no problem with that. Not that I'm encouraging murder.
Alleged pedophiles.
Right.
Right.
I mean, we don't celebrate murder here unless it's pedophiles or Casey Anthony.
That's true.
Right? And then that's the only time we're like, yeah, okay, cool. Good riddance. Yeah, so this is one of those cases where we're going to see flaws in the justice system and how, if proper steps had been taken to identify a predator early on, we might have been able to save our victim today.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's one of those cases. It's probably going to piss you off a little bit too, Dylan. Are you ready to get into it?
Let's get started.
Okay, let's do the big old mountain murders. Let's do it. Okay, so Shannon Denise Melendi was born October 20th of 1974 in Miami-Dade County, Florida, to parents Yvonne and Luis. The family will welcome another daughter, Monique, about 5 years later. From the beginning, Shannon was a natural at everything she did. Her mother, Yvonne, described Shannon as a, quote, dream child.
Oh.
Just the perfect kid.
Wow.
No trouble. Just awesome all around. And not only is Shannon a natural leader from a very early age, but she's highly motivated and enthusiastic. I mean, she has a real zest for life.
I love being around people like this. They really kind
optimistic.
Yeah, they kind of liven up the room. You can have a whole group of friends that are kind of, we don't know what we're going to do, or kind of bored. And then this person comes in and
just kind of blow in.
Yeah.
And gets the party starts, right?
Yeah. Gets everybody pumped up, feeling good, laughing, smiling.
Well, with Shannon, Dylan, there was no try. There was only do, if that makes sense, right? I mean, she's a real go-getter. She was just good at everything. As a freshman, Shannon was chosen for a paid internship with former President Jimmy Carter's nonprofit, the Carter Center in Atlanta. She spent 15 hours a week doing clerical work for this internship.
Wow, it sounds like a great opportunity.
She was like one of the youngest people ever chosen for this position.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So not only had Shannon been president of both her junior and senior classes at Miami Southwest High School, but she was a star on the debate team. Dylan, I did not have a debate team at my high school. Did you have a debate team at your high school by chance? Or?
No, I don't ever remember at one of the many schools I went to there ever being a debate team, but I've always thought it would be fun to be part of.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been part of a debate team. I think that would have been a really cool opportunity. Well, the team would argue cases at Dade County mock trials, like these competition trials. Shannon had an interest in law and becoming an attorney. She was a member of the National Honor Society and graduated from high school cum laude.
Wow.
Right. To add to Shannon's impressive resume, she was nominated for a Silver Knight Award in the speech category. She also spoke before Congress and the UN while she was still in high school.
Damn, dude. She's done more by high school than some people have done their entire lives.
Yeah, I'm like, she's more accomplished at 18 years old than I think I've ever been, sadly. Can I admit that? It's really sad. Shannon earned acceptance to the prestigious Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., but elected instead to attend Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. She was offered a full scholarship to the Southern School. And if you're not familiar with Emory University, I mean, it's a prestigious academic institution as well. It's consistently ranked among the top universities in the United States for its academic excellence, rigorous programs, outstanding faculty, and it really just has a strong reputation.
So she turns down Georgetown and goes to Emory.
Which is an equally, awesome school.
Right, and offered full rides probably at both.
It is often grouped with other highly respected universities, including some that are considered like the new Ivies due to its similar academic standing. You know, when you think of what's on par with the Southern, what we would consider maybe some of the Southern Ivies, I think Emory, Vanderbilt, Duke, right? So those are some of the schools that, in my mind, are kind of on par with the Ivy League schools.
Right. Very, very accomplished academic. Just, we were talking about this the other night. You can't just buy your way into schools like this. You got to have, I guess you could have influence or whatever.
I mean, you can have a legacy, family, and that kind of thing.
But I mean, you're expected to do the work.
But you have to earn a spot there.
You have
to keep your spots.
Yeah, and you have to have some academic chops. You have to be. You're not going to be a slouch in places like this.
Well, you're not going to last long.
Right.
Right. Shannon was studying political science and Spanish. So not only is she studying, finishing up one major as an undergrad, but she's got a double major.
And that doesn't surprise me.
She's adding extra coursework. She had a plan to attend law school and then join the U.S. Navy as a commissioned officer. Her hope was to become a JAG Corps attorney. But her ultimate dream, Dylan, she wanted to be a justice on the U.S. Supreme Court.
Damn.
And I have no doubt she could have done this.
Well, she sounds obviously very driven and knows what she wants and is not afraid to put in the hard work to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, she just sounds amazing, right? Highly motivated, very smart girl, and has these goals and a plan to achieve them at such a young age. I admire that.
Right.
It was a Saturday, actually, March 26th of 1994, the day before Palm Sunday. The weather made a comfortable spring day, and Shannon Melendi was working at a softball field. She worked part-time at the Softball Country Club of Atlanta. So at times, she worked as a scorekeeper or in the gift shop at this place. She had just returned from spring break in Daytona Beach when Shannon had spoken to her mother on the phone. She'd gotten back from her trip, had called her mom, hey. She was super stoked about her tan.
Oh, yeah?
She had spent days in the sun. She had this great tan. She was, bragging to her mom, girl, I got a great tan.
Wait till you see me.
Right. From reports, Shannon had asked if she could work on Saturday instead of Sunday. I guess she was scheduled for Sunday, but she switched days because she had made plans to play in a soccer game on Sunday. Things were fine until 12:45 p.m. when Shannon took off for lunch. There was a game scheduled at 1:15 p.m., and I'm sure Shannon thought this was enough time to grab a bite to eat. Quick little lunch. You got 30 minutes there, right?
Right.
When game time rolled around, there was no sign of Shannon. She had not returned from her lunch break, This was out of character for Shannon. She was a reliable young woman. She had never skipped work, not come back from lunch. She would have called. So obviously her employers are like, what's up with Shannon?
Yeah, because this girl is the opposite of flaky, right?
Right. She was replaced as scorekeeper and the game went on as planned. Since cell phones were uncommon at this time, there was no way to contact Shannon to find out, like, if she had had car trouble, maybe she'd gotten sick, whatever.
It's back in the old days.
Back in the old days when you weren't in constant contact with people. You got a break. I miss those days.
Yeah, I certainly miss those days. I mean, there's many ways.
There's benefits of having
Right.
a mobile phone.
There are benefits, but no, I definitely miss those days of when you're just off doing your thing.
Simple times.
And, later you find out later on, or once you get home, if you have an answering machine or something like that, that's when you find out someone's trying to get a hold of you, and you kind of just doing your own thing, just hanging out, having a good day.
Yeah, I miss that. By nighttime, Shannon had not made it back to the dorm at Emory. Shannon's roommate, Athena Perez, grew concerned. It was unlike the sophomore Shannon to stay out all night. No one had heard from her. Athena is worried. I mean, she's lived with Shannon for a while. She knows her roommate pretty well.
She knows her routine.
Right. Athena, she's alarmed by this. When there is no sign of Shannon on Sunday morning, that's when Athena raises alarms. She gathers a group of friends to search for Shannon. They start at the softball club, which is only about 5 minutes from campus. While looking for the club's entrance, they kind of pass by, not realizing where the entrance is.
Okay.
Which, I mean, that happens. You've never been to a place before. I know that happens to me all the time. I drive by and realize, oops, it was back there. So while they're looking for this club's entrance, they spot Shannon's car, a black Nissan, parked at the Citgo gas station, which is next door to the club. The car is parked funny. It's kind of crooked, like at the far end of the gas station's parking lot. Looks like a really kind of haphazard parking job.
Okay.
Right? Like somebody parked it in a hurry. The car was unlocked. Keys were in the ignition. Now, according to Shannon's friends and family, she loved this car. And I'm not exactly sure what it was, but a black Nissan, I'm assuming it was probably some little sporty car.
Right.
And she loved this car. There was no way that she would ever park it recklessly at a gas station unless she was having some kind of car trouble. But again, no one's heard from her.
So she's probably not going to leave her car parked crooked in a gas station parking lot with the keys in it.
No. Well, that's the other part of it, Dylan. She's certainly not going to leave the keys in the car. She loves this car. It's not like, hey, I'm going to give an open invitation for someone to come and steal my car.
Right.
Right? Now, Athena calls police to report Shannon missing. She explains that her roommate has been gone for about 24 hours and they've located this car. A female officer arrives to meet with Athena at the gas station, and she takes down everyone's information. Athena was surprised when the officer told Shannon's friends that they could drive the car back to campus.
Yeah, that would kind of... Well, I mean, it's one of those cases that lets you know right there what the cops think about this situation, right? They don't think it's serious. They're in their mind, maybe she met up with someone else, friends, or saw some friends in the parking lot and jumped in their car to go have college kid fun or whatever,
College kid fun.
Yeah.
Which is like you're poor and you go to the Wendy's drive-thru to get some $1 chicken nuggets.
Those wacky college kids,
So Athena thought certainly law enforcement would want to take the car in for processing because, it could be evidence. The officer seemed pretty nonchalant about the whole thing. She did speak to an employee at the gas station who confirmed they had seen Shannon on Saturday. And, I don't know if Shannon maybe regularly popped in this gas station or what, but she's a very striking young woman. She's super attractive. I mean, Shannon's very pretty. I could see where she would be a memorable, like if someone saw her, they would remember her.
Right. And I imagine the convenience store right beside where she works her, part-time job or of sorts.
Just a few minutes from campus.
So it probably is a place that she might frequent.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Athena doesn't know what to do next, and though she dreads being the bearer of bad news, Athena realizes, like, I've got to contact the Melendis, Shannon's parents, and let them know what's going on.
See, I would now if I had a thought like why aren't the police towing her car and like basically taking it away for possible evidence, I would treat the car in that manner. You know what I'm saying? I would carefully get it somewhere safe and just leave the car alone, right? Lock it up. Don't let a bunch of people go around or in the car. And I would protect the car.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's clever for Athena to realize, like, the weight of this. This could be evidence. It could be a crime scene.
Well, yeah, and that goes
we need to preserve this vehicle.
Well, and that just shows that she knows her friends' routines and habits, and this is way outside of normal for her.
Because at 20, I doubt I would have, or 19, I probably would have never thought, like, we should be careful with this car.
She already knows that this is some type of situation just because she hasn't shown up.
I'm really distracted. I'm sorry. I keep looking at Rufus, and he's sleeping on his little bed, and he looks so cute. And I just want to go over there and kiss his fuzzy little neck.
Oh my God, he looks like a furry angel.
He's super adorable. He's such a tiny little deity. Okay, so she's got to call Shannon's parents, and I would not want to make this call.
Well, no, because what you're about to do, if it is some innocent situation, is you're about to scare and worry the parents to death just with your phone call, right? I mean, as soon as you say this, they're going to be like, oh my God, what's going on? You know, you're really going to, I don't know, cause a bit of a stir.
Once Luis and Yvonne learned their daughter was missing, they hopped the next plane out of Miami, pretty quickly arriving in Atlanta. Sadly, Luis did not have a good feeling. He would later describe receiving the phone call from Athena, saying that his knees buckled and he knew at that moment he would never see his daughter again.
Oh my gosh.
His wife Yvonne turned to prayer. She seemed a little bit more hopeful that things would work out. Terrible, terrible feeling. Now, when the family arrives in Atlanta, they make a police report as well. And once law enforcement hears from the Melendis, they take the missing persons case a bit more seriously.
Right.
Which is sad that it takes like these adults to get anywhere, right? So the police are just dismissive of college kids. And I think that's, I mean, come on. You should take any report seriously.
Well, look. Yeah, I mean, her whole friend group and roommate, that's not enough to raise any kind of alarms to you. You have this car kind of awkwardly parked in a parking lot, which is a bit weird. This is in Atlanta, most people don't leave their cars sitting around with the keys in them, right? For fear of it being stolen or something like that. So, I mean, this really is, I'm surprised that didn't raise any kind of an alarm with the officer in the first place.
When the family arrives in Atlanta, like I say, they make this police report, and that's when they're finally taken seriously. A party of between 50 and 60 officers gathers to search the area surrounding the softball club, leaving no stone unturned. These officers search creek beds, abandoned buildings, apartments. It's like a several square mile radius around the location. When they find no sign of Shannon, officers tell her parents she might have just left town. They suggested she'd gone to Cancun.
Yeah, maybe she went to Cancun. I mean, she ever talk about going to the Eiffel Tower?
Well, I find this a little silly that she just ran off to Cancun. Like that's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. I mean, that means she's got to have the money to go to Cancun,
right?
Get an airline ticket.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot involved in this.
And then she leaves her car.
And why is she going to leave her car at a gas station?
Yeah, she left her car at a gas station. She probably called a taxi to the airport because, I mean, she don't have to pay for parking now and she left her keys here. So, I mean, it all makes sense.
She was hoping someone would just drive the car away. And
well, she figured her friends would come looking for her and they would take it back.
Well,
and look what happened.
I don't want to be difficult when it comes to law enforcement. I know they have a tough job. But sometimes I hear these stories.
Or something like this. Maybe she went to
Right.
Cancun.
And it makes me just want to like shake the person who said this and be
Right.
like, what is your major malfunction?
She just got back from spring break.
Yeah.
But she could have went to Cancun. I mean, it makes total sense if you really slow down
I
and think
mean,
about
gosh, I would love to just spend my time traveling. How about you, Dylan? Law enforcement theorized that Shannon had taken off. They focused on questioning her friends, including Athena. Athena was interrogated for like 8 hours.
it. Okay.
An officer told her, quote, Shannon ran away. The investigators suggested that Athena and the other friends knew where Shannon was hiding out and they were covering for her.
I mean, what are they doing? What are they doing? So if they need to cover for her, but they're the ones that raised the alarm in the first place. I mean, what are you talking about, dude?
I don't know. But Athena's in shock. I mean, she's like, is this real life? Is this happening?
Yes.
Is this what we're doing?
Yeah,
This is what cops are doing? Like, what the fuck, right? It didn't make any sense.
It doesn't. And now when you enter in a situation like this and you've never, I mean, most time people haven't had to report their friend missing or a loved one missing. You may be surprised by procedure or just how the whole thing kind of happens in real life. You may have these expectations that aren't realistic, but I mean, come on. This is one kind of goofy thing after another coming from, and then you're going to grill me and then kind of basically act like we're lying in some manner. All I want you to do is look for my friend in a meaningful way.
Well, Athena tried to emphasize that Shannon was a responsible young woman. She did not make rash, impulsive decisions, and that it did not seem likely if she was running away that she would have just left her car behind. Again, wouldn't she need this car to run away, to get away,
Yeah.
to go,
Right. I mean,
right? To travel?
the only thing missing here is her personal belongings and purse, like in the car still. I mean, that's the only part missing from this. And for the cops to be like, well, maybe she just decided to become someone else. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe she's fighting chickens in Mexico. I mean, you just never know.
Yeah, I don't think so, Dylan. It didn't make any sense, like I said, but law enforcement is sort of dismissive when it comes to the family's concerns. They think Shannon will turn up on her own, but Luis and Yvonne are not accepting the situation. Without the help of law enforcement, they launch their own campaign to find Shannon. They raise $10,000 in reward money. The family also put up around 60 billboards featuring Shannon's picture along with information.
Oh, so this family has money.
Well, they raised some money. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but
I mean, her
60
dad
billboards?
has a successful photography business.
Okay.
In Miami.
Yeah.
It's pretty successful. I guess a very successful businessman in the Cuban community where they live. I don't know if I would say they have money or are rich. I mean, that, I guess they're not poor.
Well, look, Heather, my family couldn't put one billboard up. Okay.
Yeah, we could.
No.
I know a few, but they're like way out in the middle of nowhere, and you can get them for like $400 a month. I know because my face used to be on one of those.
Tell me, have you seen this guy?
Probably not. People haven't seen that billboard because it's way out in the middle of bumfuck. But
It'd just be my head on the whole billboard.
Yeah.
That would be it.
yeah,
Like, have you seen this guy? And this is
have you seen this cheesy motherfucker?
This is a 2 scale.
Around 10,000 posters were hung up around, all over Atlanta. The Melendis turned to the media, pleading for Shannon's safe return. Yvonne said the only way her daughter could be missing is if she had been abducted. Her family suspected something terrible has happened.
Well, no, what this really represents is friends, family that are worried and they're mobilizing in a very efficient manner, it sounds like. Doing all the things that needs to be done to get the word out in the best way they know how. And I think they're doing a really good job.
Luis, who was well connected in the Cuban community in Miami, as I mentioned, reached out to friends for help. He was introduced to Cuban-born actor Andy Garcia, as well as pro athlete Bo Jackson. Both celebrities used their star power to record public service announcements asking for help in solving Shannon's missing persons case.
You're talking about Bo don't know where Shannon's at.
President Jimmy Carter and First Lady Rosalind released a statement offering prayers and asking for anyone to come forward with information. So she's got like some big time folks helping out here.
Okay.
Right? I mean, a lot of people love Shannon, and when they hear about her disappearance, they jump into action. They're willing to help. A few days after Shannon's disappearance on March 29th, an anonymous man, we know he was a man, but we don't know who he is, contacts a tip line listed on the missing persons posters. The man alleges that he kidnapped Shannon from the gas station, and he says, quote, "I'm going to keep her till I'm through with her."
Oh, God.
Like, what does that even mean? It sounds very sinister.
Well, yeah, that sounds terrible.
You ain't getting her till I'm done with her. I mean, good God.
I mean, what? Well, I got to imagine this is one of those kooks or something, right?
Another twist in the case comes on April 6th. A phone call placed to the Emory University Counseling Center is traced to a payphone in Macdonough, Georgia, near a Waffle House, of all places. The caller said, quote, "I have Shannon. She's okay."
Okay.
And the caller let this counseling center know, I know this call's being recorded. Authorities are able to trace the call. They go to this payphone, and they find a ring belonging to Shannon at the payphone, like in the phone booth.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's been wrapped like in a bag and taped up.
Oh, my gosh.
The blue topaz ring had been a gift to Shannon from her godmother. The bag was traced to a manufacturer, but the only customer the company supplied in Georgia was Delta Airlines. The masking tape was also used by Delta. Through testing, the police found particles of metal on the tape. Now, I've heard it described as metal, but I've also heard it described as like cobalt.
So, okay.
It sounds like an industrial, like these are industrial materials, right?
Right, of some sort.
This particular metal combination was only found around aviation environments where like jet engine repair and maintenance take place.
Wow. So, I mean, we have a very strong link. The person who had this ring, which is indeed Shannon's, is definitely linked to aviation, right? A mechanic or something like that.
Yes. The investigation really ramps up when South Florida congressional delegation, along with Senators Connie Mack and Bob Graham, write letters to the U.S. Attorney General Janet Reno. You remember old Janet? She looked like a linebacker.
Yeah, I remember Janet. I remember she didn't like people down in Waco.
She did not. An FBI task force is set up in DeKalb County. Now the missing persons case, they've like replaced the word missing person with the word kidnapped.
Okay. Well, I think that's reasonable assertion on their part. And again, somebody's connected and has powerful friends at the very least. Okay. Because it's just not the type of outreach you see, not only in the hood, but also in the trailer parks. You know what I'm saying? And I just find it interesting. The only reason I keep bringing it up is because this is the type of outreach and mobilization I wish we could see in every case.
Oh yeah,
but it's
absolutely.
just not how it works sometimes, and it really kind of makes me sad.
Shannon's case was featured on the Oprah Winfrey Show, America's Most Wanted, and some other like local programs. Since law enforcement didn't take Shannon's missing person case seriously in the beginning, time has passed, and what does that mean, Dylan? Evidence is gone. It's lost. The Nissan had been released to Shannon's friends before it was searched. Security tapes had been erased from the gas station, and when the ring was discovered, the FBI agent who just found this ring or whatever did not wear gloves when they picked it up.
Come on, dude. You just traced a phone call of someone claiming they have the victim, and you didn't, like, be prepared to maybe touch evidence or... Okay, well, I guess shit maybe they were just surprised that it was real. I don't know.
The calls made to the counseling center were not recorded, like, though they were traced. They had a tracer, but, we don't have time to set up a recording device? I don't know. And then Easter weekend further delayed the case. Because then you have people taking, a long weekend.
Right.
In the middle of this investigation.
Now, I would say the biggest miss out of everything you just described would have to be the surveillance tapes at the gas station, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty important key piece of information that we need, right? A very important element to the case.
Well, see, that's where I'm saying I know cops get calls from, around college areas or colleges. They get a ton of them. Someone's, got drunk at a party, went home with someone else, didn't tell their friends. I mean,
turned up in a parking lot without pants.
This it does happen a lot, but it would have been easy for that officer right then, that day, without making a huge fuss, to say, well, hold on, let me go in.
Right, and review these tapes.
And just review their tapes for the last, couple of hours, or maybe we can see how long this car's been here. And it wouldn't have been that hard, and it may have shown something.
Oh, I'm certain it would have shown
significant.
Something.
I mean, it could very well show her being grabbed or something like that,
Local law enforcement just could not seem to get it together when it came to this case. At every turn, the investigation was bungled. Police focused on the 1,000 people attending the stadium on the day that Shannon went missing. But if they'd looked a bit closer at the people who were around Shannon that day, they would have made an eerie discovery. And we're going to get to this. When Shannon's coworkers are finally interviewed, shouldn't that have happened immediately?
Well, yeah.
Well, they weren't. So, here we're just going to let some time pass before we go interview these people. Police found several employees who complained that the umpire, I should say employees and players at this softball field, had complained that the umpire on March 26th was doing a lousy job. Instead of, paying attention to the game, the man kept talking to the scorekeeper, Shannon. He couldn't seem to keep his eyes off Shannon Melendi. One player said, quote, "I would throw a pitch and then mid-stride, he would turn around and look at the scorekeeper." So it seemed that multiple players and employees had complained that the umpire, Butch Hinton, was more interested in Shannon than the ball game.
So as soon as they start interviewing people at the softball compound or whatever it is there, this person comes up. Everyone noticed this umpire acting kind of strange.
Yeah.
Almost, if you will, obsessing over the scorekeeper.
Take a picture, bro. It'll last longer.
Not watching pitches. I mean, you got an umpire not even watching pitches, which is literally their job if they're a home plate umpire. And just totally.
How many are there?
Well, you got.
I mean, I'm going to be real honest here. I know the bare minimum when it comes to baseball and softball, because I am not a fan of the sports. I don't like playing them, and I hate watching baseball.
Well, I think you got.
So I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I think you got one behind home plate, and I think you got multiple other umpires watching things like foul balls, and they're making the calls for, at the bases and things like that for someone being tagged out. I don't know. There's more than one, I think.
Okay. Well, I'm going to write that down as something I learned today, Dylan. Thank you.
I could be wrong. Because, honestly, I like the idea of baseball, but it's kind of tough to watch. It's really slow.
It's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's for the love of the game.
But, man, people who love it, love it.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I get the whole atmosphere. Like I said, going to a ballpark, and it's kind of cool.
Munching on a chili dog.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe having a beer.
Like a Thirsty Thursday beer.
Yeah.
Where it's cheap.
And then you can go steal a ball away from a kid or something.
Yeah, absolutely. When Shannon's coworkers were finally interviewed, as I mentioned, so we get this name, Butch Hinton. Now, this is kind of the first name we've really had in the case. You know what I mean?
Butch.
Yeah.
It's such a... I've always,
I kept writing my script and accidentally typing bitch instead of Butch, but I think he is a bitch, so it's okay. So now police have a lead in Butch Hinton. Looking into Butch's background, police learn he is a sexual predator.
okay, so what's this guy doing within 10 miles of this softball complex?
When he was a young adult living in Illinois, Butch kidnapped, then raped 14-year-old Tammy Singleton. Tammy was the girlfriend of his brother. Butch had lured Tammy to his house, where he tied her up in the basement and assaulted her, Butch's wife discovered the teenager tied up, and he'd served time in prison for the crime. But we'll talk more about that in a minute because he didn't serve very much time. Once he had lived in Kentucky, Butch went to his employer's home and assaulted the woman. She owned a pizza place where he worked.
Okay.
At the time of the attack, Butch was a juvenile. I think he was 17 when this happened. And he was given psychiatric treatment only. Like, he was ordered to go to counseling.
All right, I'm already pissed.
Yeah.
This person is has issues, is a danger. This is very violent. This isn't, I slapped some girl on the butt, which is not okay. But, I mean, this is way beyond. This isn't, I was 19 and she was 17 and a half and we dated, a consensual relationship. It's none of that. This is violent, deviant, terrible.
Yeah, he's 22 years old, kidnaps a 14-year-old.
Yeah. And has her tied up, torturing her, assaulting her.
In his home where he lives with his wife.
Yeah, this is way outside the norm. This is not okay. And that right there should have been the end of this guy when he's could you imagine his wife finds this poor girl tied up, beaten and assaulted in their basement?
Well, here's a little detail I left out of our story, but since you mention it, in my research, it seems that the wife, when she discovered Tammy tied up, unties her and starts admonishing her husband, which made Tammy feel like this was something he had done before, or that his wife knew he was a fucking freak.
Oh, talking about
just the way she was.
Not again.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But we'll talk more about the criminal past in a little bit. Butch had been scheduled to work on March 26th for a full day at the ball field, but the day before, Butch's wife told him she was going to go out of town. Butch asked another umpire to cover the afternoon shift on March 26th. He told his coworker he had a, quote, hot date.
Okay.
When the other man could not cover the shift, Butch spoke to his supervisor at the ball club. He requested the second half of the day off to deal with family issues. I should also include that Butch had contacted his wife's best friend and was like, hey, will you meet me Saturday afternoon? My wife will be there, but don't tell anybody you're meeting me or where we're going to meet.
Okay.
And of course, she was like, no. Yeah. I'm sorry, but if your friend called me and was like, hey, come meet me, my wife will be here, but don't tell anybody where you're going.
Dude,
I would have to decline.
If anybody told me
It's
that.
very weird.
I don't care if it's a little old lady up the street. I'm like, come back by later, honey, but don't tell nobody.
Okay.
What the?
I got some banana popsicles for you.
I got some banana pudding.
Ooh, well, I might go back if she's got. That might get me.
Oh my God, you'd be tied up in the basement if they offer banana pudding.
Banana pudding is my weakness. That is definitely how you're going to lure me into the basement. Now, at 1:54 p.m. on Saturday, Butch called in to his manager or whatever to say, hey, I can come back to work this afternoon.
Okay.
I suddenly resolved these family issues, right? But he was told, well, we don't need you. We've replaced you already. That's when Butch started making calls to his wife, his family, his friends. He made multiple phone calls. Butch is spotted again at the stadium between 2:30 and 3 p.m. He was seen walking back from the Citgo gas station where Shannon's car had been found. Butch told a coworker he was getting ready for a game, but he didn't even have on his usual umpire uniform at that time.
Right.
So this coworker thought it was odd. Like, well, if you're here for a game, why aren't you dressed in your uniform? The coworker noted that Butch was wearing tiger-striped workout pants, and they were described as baggy. So all I could think is Rex Kwando. What are those pants called?
What, parachute pants?
Well, like
Well, I know the
think they
pants.
have a proper name. Are they called skids or something?
I don't know, but I know that Zach pants you're talking about. They oftentimes
like
have
harem pants.
Yeah, I think that's what they would be nowadays. But oftentimes they have a very loud print. You know,
Tiger striped,
bright colors. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish more things were tiger striped. I have to say, I love a good tiger print. Now, the same coworker spotted Butch walking to the clubhouse around 5 p.m. And another person who had seen him earlier said, well, like, I thought you left already. Butch explained that he had forgotten to turn his pay slip for the day, but he didn't have a pay slip in his hand. So again, these folks are just finding these, little things odd.
Right.
Around 3 a.m., which would be Sunday morning, March 27th, neighbors reported seeing Butch tending to a very large fire in his backyard.
Which is a very weird thing, right? You see your neighbor out there starting a fire at, in the wee hours of the morning.
At 7 a.m., Butch phoned his father to ask if he could borrow a, quote, bone saw. Now,
God.
I'm going to show you I'm a little ignorant here, Dylan, because I don't know anything about tools and saws, very little. Is there a tool called a bone saw? Because when I hear bone saw, I'm thinking like one of the medical saws that they used to like amputate a leg during the Civil War or something.
I've heard of a bone saw before, and
is that like one of those long?
are you're
like the long kind of weird
with the curved handle? Not.
I don't know.
Well, you have a bow saw.
Okay.
But I don't know if this is something people would use hunting. If it's a literal bone saw, but I've certainly heard the term before. So
Okay.
I'm not sure as well.
Well, I don't know. Because I was like, what do you mean? Is it like a circular saw? A jigsaw? Like, I don't know. That's my limited knowledge of saws, Dylan.
Okay.
Right there.
That's
And a chainsaw.
A chainsaw.
Yeah, I do know that one. Because you almost cut your leg off with one.
Yeah.
And instead of calling 911, you call me to come get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well-
there's nothing like having your panicked wife drive you to the hospital.
Well, I wanted you to be part of it.
Please don't.
You're welcome.
Please don't do that again. Let's talk a little bit about Butch. By the way, I don't know how someone earns the nickname Butch.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Some people are actually named Butch.
Well, I think he's named Butch because Colvin Cornelius Butch Hinton III.
Oh, Lord Hinton.
Colvin Cornelius was born in September of 1960 in Kentucky. His violence began as a teenager. I mentioned earlier that he had broken into an employer's home. At that time, he was only 17, and he received counseling for the rape of his employer. Afterwards, his family left town and relocated to Illinois, because I guess when your teenage son is a rapist, that's what you got to do. While living in Illinois, Butch worked as a butcher. He married a woman named Gail. He was 22 at the time of Tammy Singleton's kidnapping, and like I said before, he did serve time, Dylan, in prison, but guess what? He was only sentenced to 4 years for the rape and kidnapping, but he only spent 2 years of that 4-year sentence in jail.
Of course.
By 1984, he was back on the street. Around this time, his wife divorced him. Years later, an investigative reporter, Steve Daniels with NBC6, found another victim. A relative of Butch Hinton's described how he had kidnapped her, then repeatedly sexually assaulted her. The family swept the attack under the rug, and it was just like never mentioned again.
Yeah, because that's what you do when a family member, lashes out violently at other people. You just
Very
act like it didn't happen.
Very, very messed up.
You should enable someone like that. That's for sure.
Butch moved to Georgia. He married a woman named Michelle, and the pair resided in Rex, which is like a suburb of Atlanta. Butch worked as a maintenance utility employee at Delta Airlines.
Oh, no.
He also had a part-time job as an umpire with the softball club. The softball country club, sorry. On April 12th, police searched Butch's home and vehicle in Clayton County. At this point, Butch had had 18 days to destroy or clean up evidence. Though law enforcement didn't find anything directly related to Shannon, they did find something quite concerning in the backyard. Various women's clothing items were buried in the backyard.
Oh, yeah, that's not weird.
There were skirts, sweaters, and blouses.
Maybe he's trying to grow a woman.
None of these items belonged to his wife, and police never determined who the clothes belonged to.
Oh, my gosh.
They also found a pair of plastic pants, like ones that are worn at a crime scene, along with wire ties that could be used as bindings. In the home, they found 9 rolls of masking tape that matched the kind on Shannon's ring. And this was also the kind of brand of tape or whatever that they use at Delta. In his vehicle, police found the same metal cobalt particles that would be matched to the ring and the masking tape.
Right.
Yeah. Investigators would search Butch's house 6 more times over the course of the next couple of years.
6 times?
Or actually, the course of the next couple of months, I should say. Although investigators told the press Butch was not a suspect, Butch is not as dumb as he looks, I guess. He realized they're on to him. So during this time, he asks another employee at Delta for a pass card ticket. So I'm assuming that this is like some kind of free plane ticket or like gives you authority to hop a plane.
Right.
There's seating available. But in order to do this, to use a pass card, you were required to wear a suit. And since Butch didn't own a suit, he asked another coworker if he could borrow one.
So I wonder what tipped Butch off that they were looking at him as a possible suspect. You think it was the 3rd or 4th time that they searched his home? He's like, wait, hey, hold on a second.
Wait, what?
What?
It looked like Butch was planning to run, obviously. Trying to borrow a suit, trying to get this plane ticket.
Yeah, but he's trying to get a deal. He's trying to get a deal, employee discount while he's trying to run.
He doesn't want to just stop by Men's Warehouse and pick up a suit. But he didn't fly anywhere. Butch also did not return to Delta, to his job, like after police start taking a look at him and his home. He also quit or was fired from the softball club. A few months later, Butch was teaching Sunday school classes at his church and managing a McDonald's in College Park.
Okay.
Butch was arrested on January 27th of 1995. And this is due to an incident that happened in December of 1994. So a few weeks earlier, a 19-year-old McDonald's employee named Della was walking home after her shift. That's when Butch grabbed the young woman forcefully by the arm and threatened her by saying, quote, "I've taken care of a woman before and wouldn't mind doing it again."
Damn.
So he's trying to get her into his car. Headlights appear and Butch got scared, hurried away like the little rat that he is. Della reported this to law enforcement. He was arrested on charges of false imprisonment and later released on a $5,000 bond. However, Della did not show up for court, so the charges were dropped. During this time, DeKalb County prosecutors had taken the case against Butch Hinton to a grand jury to indict him for Shannon's murder, but the jury didn't think there was enough evidence. The only details that had emerged about Hinton were his previous sex crimes. After all, they didn't have a body, they didn't have a crime scene, and they didn't have any witnesses.
But now I know it's not terribly strong evidence, but you have the ring from the anonymous tip that did have all the earmarks of coming from Delta. I think that's fairly strong evidence there, don't you?
I do, but I can see where maybe a grand jury's like, this isn't strong enough.
Right.
Right? By June because Delta is a big employer in Atlanta.
Yeah, it is.
So,
It is because their airport there is an international airport. It's huge. But
You have to take a subway train to get from like one end of the airport to another.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
chaotic. I hate flying into Atlanta Hartsfield or whatever it's called now.
but then you have his proximity to the victim. I think that's fairly significant. And I think his history obviously, is not good.
Well, we all know, Dylan, that circumstantial evidence is still evidence.
Well, and you have all the employees saying he was paying this kind of weird attention to her, like right before she disappeared. I mean, I don't know.
What more do you need?
What more do you need?
By June of 1994, the FBI had ceased actively searching for Shannon. And at this point, they're like, we suspect foul play. Like, we no longer think she's just been abducted or that she's missing.
Wow.
We think she's dead. For the Melendi family, all signs seemed to point to Butch Hinton. Yet, there was no arrest. The case, which had 12 assigned investigators, was now dropped down to just one investigator. Police were no closer to solving the case, and as time went on, tips and leads dried up. Captain Rodney Maddox with the police department said, quote, "As time goes by, it is less likely that they will find Shannon alive. Like, even if it's hard to accept for her parents, right?" However, Louis Melendi said he had received an inappropriate phone call from Maddox. Louis told the media that the call was disrespectful, but he wouldn't exactly go into detail about what the officer had said to him. Captain Maddox refuted this claim, but also refused to elaborate on what was said during the call. He responded to reporters that often there is no one left to blame but authorities.
Okay.
So it sounds to me like maybe Rodney Maddox told him, like, look, I don't think we're going to find your daughter alive. I don't think we're going to be able to find her at this point. I know this isn't what you want to hear, but I think you're just going to have to accept it. And that the father maybe found that to be, like, he thought that was disrespectful.
Yeah.
Or like a sign you're giving up or something like that.
Now, investigators started out kind of slow on this case. But
They did.
It sounds like it's gotten worked pretty hard.
It picked up steam.
Since.
The FBI was brought in.
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure this is not an uncommon thing between investigators and family when it does go cold or it doesn't go anywhere, or they have a suspect, but they do need the indictment from the grand jury to move forward with charges and all that. And they certainly don't have a slam dunk case against Mr. Butch there. But so I'm sure it's not uncommon for relations to cool between families and investigators.
We see that quite a bit.
We do.
Strangely enough, Butch's home caught fire on September 8th of 1994. There was smoke and water damage in the back of the home. Butch filed an insurance claim. Now, investigators from the start believed Butch had set the fire himself. It was likely that Butch had hoped this might hide any remaining evidence since, police has been to his house like 7 times to search. In June of 1995, Butch was indicted by a federal grand jury for arson. Hinton had poured gasoline throughout the house, set it on fire, and collected $185,000 through an insurance settlement.
Oh, so it paid out?
It did. Butch claimed a faulty vacuum had started the fire.
Well, do you know how dangerous those gasoline-powered vacuums are? I mean, seriously, so many accidents have been caused by those.
Are you kidding?
Well, that's how the gas got all over the house.
Oh.
Yes, it's a joke,
like,
Heather.
What?
My vacuum's got a 4-stroke engine on it, you son of a bitch.
I had no idea.
Damn.
That vacuum's rolling coal.
That son of a bitch. Yeah, but I mean, this is
Your vacuum's like, fuck them environmentalists. Woo!
My vacuum don't get but 2 miles to the vacuum. So now this is the sophistication of this guy, right? He doesn't even try to make it look like an electrical
Is
fire.
that damn Kirby?
He just literally pours an accelerant all around the house, and I can't believe the insurance paid out.
Maybe he accidentally poured the gasoline into his rainbow vacuum cleaner, mistaking it for a lovely lavender fragrance.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
but I can't believe the insurance paid out. Seriously,
There was so much publicity surrounding this case that the trial had to be moved to Panama City, Florida. And although Butch had not been arrested for Shannon's disappearance, the insurance company released a statement saying they thought the fire was a stunt to cover up evidence in her murder.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, sick burn from the insurance company, right? No pun intended. Butch was sentenced to 10 years in prison for mail fraud and using a fire to commit felony. He would serve 7 years for this offense.
So he got more time for that.
For that gas-powered vacuum.
Than kidnapping and raping a 14-year-old
girl. Yeah.
See, there's the problem, folks. That's the problem.
Or breaking into his employer's home and raping her.
Well, you know.
just need some counseling.
He's troubled.
Yeah. Just let him go talk to somebody.
Tell him how he wants to break into people's houses and rape them. I mean, what are we talking about here? That's not like a mild depression or something. Talk therapy is not going to, psychiatric treatment's not going to help that. I don't think, right? I mean, do people get better from that?
From talk therapy? No,
from wanting to rape and harm, kidnap, and rape women.
Well, I think that I'm no scientist here, Dylan, but just based on my own research and opinion, which obviously is quite valid, it doesn't seem to me that sexual predators can be rehabilitated.
No,
they
can't.
No, the only rehabilitation that a sexual predator can receive is it's called a wood chipper.
Look,
and that's how you're going to get them to stop offending.
Now, here's the thing, man. If you don't lock them away forever, you have these, basically like communities where they go and stay with other sexual predators, and that's the only people they get to be around.
Like Pervert Park in Florida.
I've still never seen that. I want to see that, but I can't find it anywhere.
It's a good watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really interesting program.
No, and I've seriously seen people who have these issues openly and honestly discuss how it's a compulsion and how they live in fear of reoffending, right? It's like almost like they can't control themselves. And they're I've seen it spoken about in an earnest way about, I don't want to do this, but it's just like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I understand compulsion because we mentioned earlier, like banana pudding, for example, and I'm not trying to make light of, being a pervert, but if there's a banana pudding, I am not going to have any kind of impulse control. I'm going to need to put that banana pudding in my mouth.
It's going in your hole.
It's going in my belly.
So I'm just saying, this is not something that can be cured.
It cannot.
And that's why they have to be, put away somewhere in some form. If it's not prison, like I said, be it a colony on an island or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being serious.
I'm not opposed to bringing back penal colonies.
Yeah.
And placing the sex offenders there. That's fine by me. I mean, these people are not compatible with society. They have no place being in society.
They're not going to stop.
They should not be able to reoffend. They're not going to stop. They only escalate, as we've seen time and time again.
Right, child molesters turn into child killers.
These fuckers.
Yeah,
Okay.
Do something with them.
Released in 2003, detectives once more started trying to connect Hinton to Shannon's case. The lead prosecutor said the more he read through the case file, the stronger he felt that Butch was responsible. He's their prime suspect. With forensic developments using electron microscopes, the investigators were able to definitively tie Butch to the masking tape and the Delta bag.
See, that's the thing. I know a lot of people, I guess the forensics continue to evolve during this case, but you can take those shavings and whatever and break them down to break it all the way down to like its chemical makeup, and you can actually say, hey, yeah, this is cobalt dust or whatever, but it's from the same batch. You know what I'm saying? You can really dial that stuff in to make it stronger evidence. You can say, hey, this is the same exact chemical makeup as the stuff we found at his house or in his car or whatever.
Metal from Delta Airlines, the facility where he worked, was used to match the cobalt and other metals on the evidence. I mean, before they felt it was a match, but like now technology's improved and they're like, this is definitely a match.
Well, they can prove it with science.
The DA hired an expert aeronautical scientist to determine what chemicals and metals were used in aircraft maintenance and repair. Not only do they have this physical evidence now, but Butch Hinton had blabbed to multiple inmates. Because Butch is a fucking idiot.
Dumb.
One inmate said Butch had nightmares. This was like, I guess, his cellmate, and that he would wake up screaming and afterwards would tell the cellmate, I didn't kill her.
Okay.
He told the inmate a girl had worked at a softball field with him and she'd gone missing. Butch also told this guy that he had a demon inside of him. I got this demon.
I got a demon in my butt.
It just lives in there. Comes out sometimes.
He's made him a nice little home in there.
Makes me do little demon things. When Butch learned from another inmate that states could not charge someone with murder, could charge someone for murder with a no-body case.
Yeah.
Because the states had started to kind of make this happen. He started freaking out. He began researching no-body cases in the law library, was asking other people that worked in the law library, like, to help him get information on these cases, how that worked. Butch made other statements about how he had been burning brush the night in the early morning after Shannon had disappeared. He made other statements that, not statements, but kind of more like questions asking, if you burn a body in a burn pile, like, wonder how much of the bones and stuff is left.
Oh my God. They never checked the backyard.
Well, they did. They found those clothes.
Yeah.
But we're going to get to that. Hold on. Butch told another inmate that his weakness was, quote, young girls. He also said the best way to get rid of a body is to cut it up, crush the bones, and throw the pieces in a river. Butch bragged about being a butcher previously and how he could cut up a whole cow in less than an hour without getting a single drop of blood on him. I mean, these are all very weird statements, right?
Right.
That you're just in prison, like, jacking your jaw, telling people all this weird shit.
You ever took skin off a pig?
I mean, it reminds me of that scene in Wayne's World when they're at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And Ed O'Neill's like, if you cut a man's heart out in the dead of winter, heat will rise from his body, or, steam will rise from his body. I just feel like that's Bush in the corner just saying weird shit, and everybody's like, not that guy. No, we've talked about surviving prison and jail and stuff, and I think that would be probably one of the top 5 things that I would hate about jail is having to listen to other people all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I would want to be like, just shut the fuck up, dude. Because you've got these idiots in there who just all the time, probably about their crimes and trying to be cool or whatever. And I just want to tell those people to, like, zip it.
Well, no, that's
right?
certainly got to be one of the worst parts. And then having to, like,
I don't want to hear all that shit.
Be cellmates with someone and you don't get to choose them.
Never stops talking.
Or I was been listening to this book on, like, L.A. gangs called The Black Hand, which is really good read or listen, if you will. But anyway, this one time he's talking about this guy. He's with this guy who has, like, body acne, and he'll, like, pop his pimples and then, like, start touching all the snacks, reaching in his hand in the potato chip bag.
Yum.
Dude, I would be so grossed out having to be in a tiny, tiny room.
Well, you're basically living in a bathroom.
Yeah.
With somebody.
With another person.
And they could be gross.
And they could be gross.
Yeah.
And you can smell
Smelly.
them. Yeah. They might fart all the
Just
time.
never stop talking.
Yeah. Just
I think I could take the farts over the just like incessant talking.
Just looking you in the eyes while they're taking a poop.
I just want some quiet time.
Gosh,
that's okay. I will make eye contact with them too. We'll have a staring contest.
That would be so bad. Having to poop and someone's right there, dude.
Don't go to boot camp.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, we all know about jailhouse snitches. I mean, sometimes they cannot be trusted. But from the sounds of it, Butch wasn't keeping anything secret. I mean, it's not like there's just one jailhouse snitch coming forward. We've got multiple inmates, like 5 to 8 people coming forward with these varying, like, damning details and information.
Okay.
Right? So it's like a group of people who are telling law enforcement this is what he said. On August 30th of 2004, Butch was finally indicted with malice murder in Shannon's case. The Melendis made it clear they didn't hold the city of Atlanta, Emory University, or law enforcement responsible for what had happened to Shannon. Yvonne said, quote, "People tend to think something like this only happens to other people. This would never happen to me." And I think Yvonne Melendi is making a point there. You know, most of us take for granted that our families and children are safe. Like, we don't think terrible things are going to happen to us. But, you know, I think she's pointing out that we're like a wholesome all-American family. You know, married, 2-parent household, these 2, like, lovely daughters. Shannon's smart, successful, beautiful, like, has the world at her feet. And something like this happened to her, so it really can happen to anyone.
Well, yeah, you got a family. Everybody seems to be doing the right thing. Shannon, certainly, you know, just a great student. You know, works her jobs, and she's not doing any kind of high risk behavior, which certainly doesn't mean anyone deserves anything. But you can understand how they may have ended up in trouble. But she's not doing any of that. She's doing. I think anyone would be proud to have a daughter like Shannon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Working that hard, accomplishing all that, having such lofty goals as a young person. And like you said earlier, I have no doubt that she would have achieved all of her goals because she seemed very driven. But yeah, this is a good point.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really, I think, maybe just a warning that, like, we could all become a victim of a crime. Crime doesn't discriminate. And, you know, folks just need to stay vigilant, teach your, you know, young children and young adult children to stay safe out there.
Right.
When Luis learned about Butch's previous convictions, he was angry, obviously. In the media, he blamed the judge who'd sat on the Tammy Singleton trial. He said if the judge had given Butch 15 to 20 years in prison for the kidnapping and sexual assault of that 14-year-old girl, he wouldn't have been out on the street to abduct Shannon.
Well, there you go.
And
I agree with him.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I'm just like, a weak-ass justice system has been responsible for this, bears some brunt of the responsibility for not keeping this monster off the streets.
Well, I want to know why mandatory minimum sentencing seem, I may be wrong, but it seems to only apply to people tied to drugs and drug cases and things like that. How in the world do you let these people who perpetrate these violent, super violent crimes, rape, molesting, whatever, violence toward women in any capacity, even on a small level, I think is a big deal. And how do they just keep getting off with such small amounts of time? It just blows my mind. And if someone's in there for 4 years, even if they only got 4 years for doing that to that poor 14-year-old girl, that's the person who gets out in half the time. It's total bullshit.
I agree. I don't know why we as a collective are not badgering our lawmakers
change the laws
to fix this situation.
Yeah,
right?
Change the laws.
Because it seems to me like just right now we have a weak-ass justice system. Criminals are turned out on the streets. The cashless bail thing has proven it doesn't work.
It's allowing the same crappy people to ruin communities.
Just recidivism, because you have a handful of shitbirds who do all the crimes, but every time the police go out and arrest them and do their job, then the judges just let them go.
Right.
They're not doing their job. I mean, and it just seems to me like victims have so few rights in this country. Criminals seem to have more leniency and rights than the victims do.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
That doesn't add up for me.
And nowadays, if you fight back or try to defend yourself, you could face charges. I mean, it's just like they want us to be terrorized by these criminals.
You can see, that's what
I mean, it's so fucked up, and I don't know what's happening, but we gotta fix this shit and get it together.
Well, I'm saying, just like not long ago, you have, no matter how you feel about the case, you have a guy, 2 people breaking into his car multiple times. He chases them down the road, shoots the assailants. Hey, should he have chased them down the road? Probably not, but whatever. This guy gets charged.
Oh, he's a murderer. He's horrible.
He's a murderer.
Oh my gosh, the comments I've seen online, just this guy's such a piece of shit.
And 58 years, I want to say something like that they're wanting to put him away for. So, I mean, honestly,
but if you molest and kidnap a 14-year-old girl
and tie her up in your basement,
yeah,
you get 4 years.
We're gonna just give you a little slap on the wrist.
So, I mean, I don't care how you feel about either of those cases. That doesn't add up for me. That doesn't add up that person should be facing 60 years in jail, and then some piece of shit like this Butch guy be out of jail in 2 years.
Well, it's just this attitude that is so prevalent in today's society of we've got to make excuses for everyone's bad behavior. There's like no accountability, no personal responsibility. People make these terrible choices, but it's like, oh, but they're the victim. They didn't really stand a chance. Like, oh, they had a hard life. Well, like, we all haven't had struggles or had a hard life.
Right.
It doesn't make me go out and murder people. It doesn't make me kidnap a child and tie her up in my basement and sexually assault her, right? I mean, I'm just so sick of the excuses and like having these, feelings of like compassion for these criminals. It's like, no, they're fucking terrible. They need to be off the streets. Like, we cannot allow this to continue.
I was like, if you're breaking into my home, why is the burden on me to make sure that
I get away from you if you're armed with a weapon
to make sure
and breaking in my house?
Yeah, to make sure the scenario is exactly perfect before I'm allowed to protect myself. If there is some error made there, if something happens that shouldn't have happened, well, you know what? If you had never tried to break in my house, none of this would have happened.
Yep,
and that's where the burden of responsibility should be on that person. And I don't give a fuck if they're 12 or 13 years old, honestly.
No, because, and maybe I'm pissing people off out there, and that's not my intention. I mean, we're all entitled to feel how we feel, right? But I've seen a video of a family speaking about a victim who I guess is like the brother or sister, or I guess it's the sister speaking, it's her brother, along with another relative. Teenage boy, like, broke in a house, ended up getting shot, was, doing something he shouldn't have been doing, got shot by the homeowner, and the sister's excuse is like, well, how else was he supposed to get money for school clothes?
That's crazy.
And I'm like, what?
That's mindset is insane to me.
What are you talking about?
There's 20 other ways you're supposed to try to round up funds besides breaking someone's house.
Yeah, it's called get a fucking job.
Or,
work.
Ask family or do something.
Work a job.
You should
go to a part-time job and earn some money.
How in the world do you think it's okay to go take other people's stuff and scare them? Oh, gosh.
I don't know. I mean, we're supposed to trust our justice system. And again, unfortunately, it just seems to favor the criminals more times than not. Very lenient.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Exactly. The burden's on the victims. It seems like to me.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
For real. Butch was taken to trial on August 22nd of 2005. It would be Georgia's first no body case. So big deal. Since there was no body, the death penalty was taken off the table. The prosecution admitted they didn't have a great deal of physical evidence. But Dylan, circumstantial evidence is still evidence and can be used to paint a broader picture, in my opinion. Not that my opinion counts. Showing that Shannon would not leave without warning, establishing her close ties to her family, her friends, and the university likely meant she was dead. There was the metal fragments as well as Butch's confessions to multiple inmates while behind bars. Prosecutors pointed to the fact that Butch's wife had gone out of town and that he had spent the first half of the day focusing on Shannon at work. And we have multiple witnesses that say that he could not contain himself.
Yeah, he couldn't even, right there in front of everybody. He can't even control himself.
This man is lusting. He's got lust in his heart and his eyes, Dylan. They left around the same time for lunch. Shannon's car was parked at that Citgo gas station where Butch had been seen the same day. He returned to the softball club as if he was trying to establish an alibi. The neighbor had seen him burning trash. My neighbor burns trash. On the night that she had gone missing. In one of the burn pits on Butch's property, police found a pair of plastic handcuffs The prosecution was allowed to introduce Butch's previous criminal history into evidence. Despite the defense's objections, the judge ruled that the evidence showed a pattern of behavior in which Butch manipulated women into vulnerable situations, then restrained them for purposes of sexual assaults. Tammy Singleton, as well as his former employer, both of his victims, testified at the trial. Tammy described Butch as, quote, Jekyll and Hyde. She recalled how his eyes were evil, like during the moments that he was tying her up and assaulting her. She said he just looked like pure evil.
Right.
Like he had scary eyes, just blank, frightening. His ex-wife, Gail, recounted finding Tammy tied up in the basement and how she had intervened, untied her. Gail said that Butch seemed to be in a trance at this time, like he just wasn't even himself.
Yeah, I mean, so he goes into this state or whatever, and that's when he's at his most dangerous.
Of course, the defense argued that there was no evidence tying him to Shannon's murder. They argued without a body, we don't even know if Shannon is dead. They pointed to Butch's criminal past, but said, oh, well, just because he kidnapped and raped a girl, that doesn't make him guilty of murder.
Well, it's like the old, just because he's a terrible husband, that doesn't make him a murderer.
Just because I caught your hand in the cookie jar doesn't mean that you even like cookies. Now, the defense said Shannon's drug and alcohol abuse, as well as promiscuity, led to her death.
Oh, yeah.
So they're using the whole victim-blaming tactic here.
Yeah, let's slut-shame the victim, bud. And I mean, does she even act like that?
Well, Shannon's friends disputed these allegations during their testimony.
Not that it would matter.
Shannon's friends say, yep, she smoked pot sometimes, like nearly every college student, but she was not a drug addict, nor was Shannon an alcoholic, and that she was a responsible young woman who took college very seriously. So they are definitely like rebutting what, this is a rebuttal to what the defense is saying.
Well, and I never get this tactic. So what if she is an alcoholic, pot-smoking, promiscuous young lady, right? What does any of that matter?
It doesn't.
I mean, how does that?
It's like saying, well, she wore a green shirt. Like, how is that relevant?
It doesn't mean...
It does not mean anything.
Anything. It means nothing at all. It's just character assassination of the victim.
Absolutely.
Posthumously.
The defense used the, again, old, let's blame the victim tactic, which doesn't usually go over well with juries. I think a lot of juries see that and think, like, you're disgusting. We're talking about a homicide victim here,
Now, what's... that used to work a lot, and that's why they still try it, because it was very effective, right? Back in the day.
Yeah, I guess back in the damn, 20s or something?
I would say even, 80s, 90s.
No, it's true.
Unfortunately, but it's finally getting a little bit out of style. And honestly, I think I've listened to some cases where the person ended up being innocent after the fact, after they've served time or something. But the proving that you have an extramarital affair, your wife or your husband ends up dead, and proving that you have an extramarital affair. I think that's a big blow to the defendant in that, because I really think that kind of hangs a cloud if you're trying to act like your relationship was perfect.
Well, a sense of betrayal.
And then,
if you're willing to betray your partner in this way,
right,
then it opens a door for possibility that, like, maybe you could be doing something else that's shady or whatever. Right?
Yeah, and then it could be the other person's like, well, it's either it's you got to be with me or them, the ultimatums and things like that. And so I think that's even more damaging nowadays than character assassination of the victim.
The prosecution had not made any deals with the inmates who testified, but the defense told the jury that these criminals were lying in order to get a reduced sentence. You can't believe them, even though they're not being offered any deals.
I was going to say, oftentimes, it's very rare, actually, that they offer some kind of a sweetheart deal. More often than not, that's only if you're like co-defendants, right? You'll have someone who turns state's evidence against the other people involved in a crime, and they may get a reduced sentence, but it's very seldom are they given total immunity.
Finally, on September 19th of 2005, Butch was found guilty on both counts of malice murder and felony murder because they added the other charge. He was sentenced to life in prison on both charges. He appealed the sentence in 2006, but was denied. Following the denial of appeal, Butch confessed to his father about murdering Shannon. He requested that the DeKalb County authorities sit down with him. He's ready to talk. He said, quote, "I can't live with this no more."
Oh, wow.
He told the lead prosecutor and a detective in a recorded interview the details. So Butch claimed that he had plans to rape another woman. Remember, he was trying to get his wife's best friend to come over, but don't tell nobody.
Yeah, this guy's a really good planner.
Yeah. Well, she refused to meet up with him on that Saturday. And after meeting Shannon for the first time at the game, he invited her to lunch. She agreed to grab a bite with him, being friendly. The pair ate at a Burger King, and they were driving back to the softball club. Butch faked a wrong turn. He pulled onto the highway and headed for his home in Rex, Georgia. Once headed in this direction, he faked a leg cramp and asked Shannon if she would take over driving.
Okay.
Ow, my leg hurts. I can't drive.
And I don't know where I'm at. I'm lost.
I mean, does that work? How do you fake a leg cramp? I mean, what a dumbass.
No,
Can't come with something better than that?
I'm sure at this point Shannon's like, oh my God, I just want to get back to the softball field. What are we doing here, bud?
That Burger King made my leg hurt. He then climbed into the back seat where he had hidden a knife. Butch held the knife to Shannon's throat and ordered her to drive to his home. Of course, at this point, she's absolutely stunned and is asking, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Once he got Shannon alone in the house, he bound her in the guest room. At first, Butch told Shannon he didn't have any plans to hurt her. He just wanted to steal her car and that he would let her go as soon as he sold her car.
Okay.
He made phone calls during this period to establish an alibi. He's calling his wife, his friends, family members. Butch left Shannon tied up in the house. He returns to the softball club. He locates Shannon's car, and that's when he parks it at the gas station. So if they had reviewed the footage from the cameras, they would have seen Butch pulling this car into the lot.
And she's still alive, tied up in his house.
Haphazardly parking it in the space.
That could have possibly saved her life.
They absolutely could have saved her life. I think if this cop, well, it's been 24 hours. Okay, maybe not, but it would have solved the case a lot sooner. So Butch thought if he left the car unlocked with the keys inside it, that someone would come along and steal the car, and that this would benefit him by throwing police off his trail.
Right.
When Butch returned home, he untied Shannon and sexually assaulted her. Then he handcuffed Shannon to a bedpost. Now, at this point, she's kind of like lying in the floor, and he handcuffs her, her hands to a bedpost. And so she's in the floor. Shannon was calm and cooperative, according to Butch. She's just like, please, I won't tell anybody. Just let me go. She's trying to connect with him and talk him into releasing her kind of thing. He asks her, do you want to listen to a radio station? She suggests a local rock station. So she's just trying to get out of the situation. Butch said Shannon was composed the entire time, that she never reacted emotionally, even when he raped her. He said Shannon did not fight back, and he assured Shannon that she would be let go as soon as he got rid of the car. Now, after this, he ties her, he's got her handcuffed up, to the bedpost or whatever. He goes to see the movie Mighty Ducks at a theater with his niece and nephew.
God, what a sicko.
He gets back home around 10:30. That's when he rapes Shannon again. Then he starts to panic. He didn't know what to do. He tried to go to sleep, but could not. Around 2 a.m., he got up. When he enters into the bedroom, Shannon is still lying on the bedroom floor, handcuffed to the post. Butch assumed she was sleeping because she did not stir when he entered the room. So in a state of panic, he doesn't really know what to do. He has a tie rack in this room, and he grabs a necktie. He quickly kind of jumps on top of her. Butch strangled Shannon until she stopped moving. Now, at first, he didn't even know if she was dead. He thought maybe she had just passed out. But as Shannon's body turned pale and grew stiff, he realized, like,
Whatever.
I've killed
Fuck
her.
this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, really, fuck this guy. Piece of shit.
For the next hour or two, Butch paced around his living room, unsure of what to do. He decided to move Shannon's body to a rollaway dumpster next to his house, but then realized that was probably not the best option. So he decided to build a fire in the backyard using logs, brush, and other debris. He poured gasoline on the burn pile and then placed Shannon's body on top, ignites the fire. As it's burning, rain starts to fall. So Butch is worrying that the fire's going to go out. He leaves. He goes to a gas station. He purchases some more gasoline and returns home to tend the fire.
Okay.
So he leaves this body burning in his yard unattended.
He's a fucking sicko.
Well, he's just dumb. I mean, at 3 a.m., this fire, a neighbor could have called the police.
Yeah.
Like, does he have a burn permit or something? I mean, there's so many places here where he's just dumb. He makes really bad choices, right? So, and we should talk about this, Dylan. Like, a crematorium burns extremely hot in excess of 2,000 degrees, probably more like 2,500, 2,700 degrees.
It's also reflected heat. That's the key component.
A wood-burning fire definitely does not reach that temperature. Also, when a body is cremated, there are often still like big chunks of bone left over. The bone fragments are placed in a processing machine that grinds the remains. These machines retail for thousands of dollars. So it is very likely that Shannon's body did not burn quickly because a cremation in one of these crematoriums designed for this purpose can take 3 hours.
Right.
For a single body to be cremated. So in this little fire pit or whatever, it's probably taken a really long time.
It's not doing a effective job.
No. Now, the following morning, Butch did borrow a saw from his father. By the time Butch returned from picking up the tool, he says Shannon's body was completely burned.
I doubt that.
I don't believe
highly
that.
doubt that because, like you said, this is even in something designed to do this very thing. It doesn't completely burn up a body. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't believe
in
that.
an open pit, you're not getting that reflective heat being pushed back towards the body. No.
I don't believe it. Butch then got dressed for church. I mean, because, when you rape and murder a woman, you better go to church. His wife, Michelle, arrived home around 2 p.m. Worried about the weekend's events, Butch thought he could distract his wife by taking her to the Olive Garden for dinner. He gifted his wife, Michelle, a ring that he had stolen from Shannon's body.
Disgusting.
He left the other blue topaz ring at the phone booth, if you recall. Now, once the couple returns from their tour of Italy, Butch became paranoid that law enforcement would show up at any minute to arrest him. Then he starts thinking about the burn pit, and around 11 p.m., he goes outside to collect the ashes. Of course, his wife is like, "What are you doing? Why are you fooling with this thing so late at night?" And he explains to her that a landscaper is coming by the next day and that the yard needed to be cleaned up. Michelle helps him collect the ashes from this fire pit. Like, she held the trash bag while he shoveled in this ash and debris. His wife had no clue that these ashes were human cremains. I can't even.
Well, yeah. I mean, that'd be the furthest thing from your mind, right?
He then took the trash bag to a railroad track to dump it. During the confession, he did not accept responsibility for the fire at his home in September 1995. He claims he did not start it. It was always burning since the world's been turning. He did not start the fire.
He doesn't know how gasoline got all over his house.
He does not. And he's also a big Billy Joel fan, obviously. No. Since it had taken law enforcement 18 days to search Butch's house, it is not surprising. He had plenty of time to remove and destroy any evidence.
Right.
So during their 7 searches, of course they didn't find anything. The Melendis considered Butch a far more sophisticated criminal than police presented. It was clear to prosecutors that Butch Hinton needed to remain behind bars. If he was released, he would continue to escalate his crimes. There are some who've suggested that Butch maybe was a serial killer and that there were probably other victims. But we really don't have any way of knowing. But we do know that oftentimes these types of crimes do escalate.
Yeah, and we also know that there was random women's clothes found buried in his backyard.
Well, there's that unexplainable bit of evidence. Yeah. The whole system failed Shannon. I mean, let's be honest. If he had been properly sentenced from the beginning, she would be alive today.
Oh, here's a crazy idea. How about you run background checks on the people you let work at the softball place where there's going to be a bunch of young people?
Things haven't gotten better really since the 1980s and 1990s. I mean, we all know that. Today, less than 1% of sexual assaults lead to a conviction. Statistically, only around 23% of victims report sex crimes. 1 in 5 women will be raped during their lifetime. I mean, that's far too many.
Damn.
And yet rape is the only crime in which victims are held accountable. I mean, do we ever ask a mugging victim, like, what were you wearing? Did you egg it on?
Oh, so you had your gold watch on your wrist? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of deserved that, didn't you?
You got carjacked? Well, maybe you shouldn't be driving a car.
Maybe you shouldn't have a car that nice.
In 1995, an area of 48th Street in Miami was renamed Shannon Melendi Drive. Butch Hinton remains incarcerated but is eligible for parole every 7 years. The Melendi family fights to keep him behind bars. Yvonne Melendi passed away in 2020 due to COVID complications. That same year, Butch was denied parole, so his ass remains locked up where he belongs.
How's he even getting a chance at parole? Should have been life with no parole.
Well, I agree. I agree with that.
God.
There you go. I told you this was a story that was it pisses me off.
No, it's every
It's probably
time.
pissing you off some too here.
I mean, how many times over the years here at Mountain Murders in the studio have we been pissed off with molesters and rapists getting away with it over and over again?
Hi, welcome to Mountain Murder Studio, where we are pissed off.
God,
Yeah,
damn.
it's true.
They should kill this guy in a slow, painful manner. I mean, just well, he's got, oh gosh, all this hand-wringing about worrying about Butch's feelings and what makes him do this. Call this person out of society. Kill them. Get them away from us. I was been listening to a book called The Black Hand.
Yeah, you told us.
No, yeah. But no, it really got me thinking about when you end up with these ultra-violent people in prison and they laugh about the fact they already have multiple life sentences. So they will kill another inmate.
Yeah, they just don't even care.
No, they'll kill another inmate. They'll kill, they'll attack staff, threaten staff, kill staff.
And a lot of times, inmates purposefully try to get put on like death row or something.
Right.
Because they're like, well, it's better there.
Well, yeah, they feel like maybe the food's better or they can control their environment.
Well, they don't have to deal with like gin pop and
Right.
other, yeah.
But just this listening to this very long book and just the violence, I don't understand why, as a society, it's on us to make concessions and to worry about what we do with these people that act like this, that are fucking animals, monsters. I just don't understand why we can't get over that hump of compassion. And well, I get it to a degree because we view things from more of a moral perspective, right? A human kind of, well, you just can't imagine doing, being a certain way or doing certain things. But I just don't understand when these people prove time and time again, even behind bars, even in the most strict conditions, that they're still going to lash out every chance they get, run, drugs and criminal gangs on the street from prison and all this stuff. Why they're allowed to be alive? I don't understand why we can't just be like, hey, this person should be like not around anymore. Will be the best thing for everybody, right?
Again, an island. Send them off.
Yeah, send them and let them kill each other.
Yeah, it could be like Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Only we won't have Kurt Russell.
No.
We'll put them there, surrounded by sharks.
We just put them in.
It's kind of like Alcatraz.
We parachute, throw them out, and just let them float down. And then they can just, figure it out amongst themselves.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but time and time again, it just seems that criminals do not have to pay the piper for what they've done. And then innocent people. And it seems like it's always good people.
It's always the best.
Like Shannon, like Brandy last week.
Yeah.
You know, just these like wonderful young people who are doing the damn thing, accomplished, going places.
They have dreams.
And they're snuffed out by just a disgusting predator who shouldn't even be out.
Yeah, exactly. It's
because
always
they've done other things and they're supposed to be behind bars. I mean, I don't know.
All right. So thank you for that. I'm mad. I'm going to have to walk it off. Thank you for that, Heather. Thanks again to our the patrons our new patrons who sponsored today's show.
Santa and Adele.
Santa and Adele. Thank you so much. We hope you enjoy the ad-free and extra content over there on the Patreons. And until next time.
I'm going to make a promise here, and you guys hold me to it. I'm not going to give you a specific time frame, but eventually it will get done. I'm going to take time to like organize Patreon.
Right.
Set up the different collections and try to kind of like curate it so it's a little easier for folks to navigate.
Right. So you can know what's a regular ad-free episode or what's actual bonus content.
Right.
And thank you. That'd be a great thing to do. I'm sure many of our patrons will appreciate that.
Yeah, but if you do join Patreon, there is just years and years and years of work there. Just a large volume of episodes to sift through.
It's a thick book of content.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess a digital thick book.
Yes, it's so digital.
It's as thick as Dylan's thighs.
It's ones and zeros.
You have beefy thighs for a man.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw a guy at the gym the other day, and he had like a big old booty.
Really?
Yeah, which surprised me. You don't see that very often.
He had a dump truck.
And I'm like, okay, because I've been seeing a little bit more of that.
Well, you know, I think...
So I appreciate that you guys are working on your thighs and butts as well.
Well, this is natural. I don't really work on these thighs. It's just the way God drew me.
Is that why you're wearing those short shorts, so I can see them?
You like that?
Well, I don't know if I like it. But
Hey, you keep looking. You'll see some other stuff.
it's probably true.
Yeah, but you know, I think guys are starting to work on their butts now. I think that's becoming a thing.
It is?
Working those glutes.
Or do you think men will start getting BBLs?
I don't know.
I hope so.
Do you?
Yeah, I want to see a man with a BBL. Make it happen, dudes.
All right.
Make it happen.
So I have new fitness goals.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to Mountain Murders, and we will be back in a couple of days with our first spooky season midweek.
I can't wait.
And again, we'll be discussing the film Jennifer's Body and the true story behind the film, the story that inspired it.
Now, I got to say, I did not realize there was a true story that inspired the movie Jennifer's Body.
Yeah, and I have to say it's more disturbing than the movie. And probably, yeah, that movie's not a great film.
It's a terrible
Can we
film.
just say that?
I caught it in the movies. Unfortunately, it was a horrible watch. But I'm going to go rewatch it because I want to be ready for this midweek. I want to know what I'm talking about when I'm comparing the true life story to the movie. So let's do it.
Okay.
All right. So until next time, stay safe. I hope this podcast...
Stay dry.
Okay. Hold on. I hope this podcast finds you happy, safe, and fed. Right?
Okay.
And then that's from the blast from the past.
I want to be fed.
I want to be fed.
I'm starving over here.
All right. So I'm going to get off here and feed Heather.
Yeah. Something really healthy like a piece of celery or something.
Yeah.
Something boring.
Gosh.
All right. Bye, Dylan.
Bye.